ISIS will enter the zoo and Chad unless, and this is from an Islamic newspaper. As I told you before, anything you hear on Radio Biafra is correct. I told you on this platform that they will come for you. You see, let me tell you one thing that people don't know because you don't know history. I forgive some of you because in your schools in the zoo they don't teach you anything. I want some people to actually go and sit down and study the history of Islam. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped growing. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped expanding through militancy and war. Others have stopped, only Islam. Christianity is based on convincing people, telling them about the message of hope and restoration of Yahweh Yeshua. Of course, immensely corrupted, that we know for sure. But Islam believes in expanding through war, and that war is coming.
And after that broadcast then in 2015, some of us mocked him. Some of us laughed at him. Some said, oh, what is this man trying to say? He's just trying to get popularity. You know, we insulted him to the last. But you know what? Let me shock you. Just a bit. Let me shock you a bit. Please, I'm going to play just few seconds video of what is going on now. Then I'll come back to tell you something again that will shock you. Just listen carefully to this video.
We are living in the last days. The last days, Paul called it the perilous times. Times where people, because of money, can do anything. Where wickedness will increase. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Where people don't think of anything about fear of God. In 2 Timothy 3 verse 1, it says, this know also, that in the last days, perilous times shall come. It's already here. Where you see they carry children without having conscience. Where they think they can turn Nigeria to an Islamic nation, it can never happen. Now hear me as a prophet. It will never happen. All this agenda is to make Nigeria an Islamic nation. Let me tell you today. That's the agenda. It can never happen. Are you telling me that Igbo man will be an Islamic Muslim? Or Sasa will be Muslims? You better, if you try it, will get out. Are you telling me Igbo man now will become a Muslim? You force him to be a Muslim? Or you force a South man to be a Muslim? That is the agenda. Hear me, I'm a man of God. That's the agenda. Don't think it's all this kidnapping banditry. It's the agenda. If army want to wipe them off, they wipe them off one day. And they have the power to do it. How can you bring Turkish people to come and... Turkey that was a Christian nation that taught to Islam. You bring the army from Turkey to come and protect Nigeria. Thank you. We are not stupid. We know it. But let me hear me. I'm one of those who speak. It can never happen. And not even if after we are gone, it will never. Nigeria will never be an Islamic nation. If they want it, they can take their part and go. But this country will never be run by Islam. As we are living peacefully, they better leave it to. If anybody wants to make it, he can take his own, all those their states and go. But to say that we impose Islam on us, that is madness of the highest order. And that is the agenda. But I can tell you, it will never, not in my lifetime, even after my lifetime, in the name of Jesus. It will never. Social media, if you like, carry it, but don't misquote me. Don't misquote. Nigeria will never be an Islamic nation. That's what I said, and don't misquote me. Say it as I say it. Please, everybody worship your God, but don't impose your religion on us. We have never imposed our own on you. Say it as I put it. If you twist what I said, you'll be cursed.
Alright, the truth is, there's an agenda to Islamize Nigeria, and it's no jokes. Slowly, it's creeping in on us, and it's no joke. There's a very strong agenda to Islamize Nigeria from some persons, and we are not paying attention to it. We are not paying attention to it.
Listen, Nigeria will never become an Islamic state. Never become an Islamic state. Nigeria will 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 never become an Islamic state. Come on, pray in the spirit, everybody. Pray in the spirit. Pray in the spirit. Bring down their towers. Bring down their towers. The jihadists, the Fulani herdsmen, and all the terrorist groups in Nigeria shall be visited with divine judgment.
Listen, if you like, shout 1 billion amens to those prayers, and you are not doing anything your amen is in vain. I can tell you that because the Bible also told us that faith without good work is what? Is dead. The Bible said in the book of Philippians that we should work out our salvation through what? Fear and trembling. You must work out your salvation. You must put to work that thing you pray for. Otherwise, coming to church to shout, bandit will die in Jesus' name, far. I tell you that because let me tell you what is happening currently now. On the 9th day of August, just about 2 days ago, a Muslim cleric from the north came out and said that they, the Muslim, has taken over Nigeria, that they own Nigeria. And he proved that by saying that today the president of Nigeria is a Muslim, the vice president is a Muslim. That is to show, to confirm that they hold Nigeria and they must continue. I'm sure most of you saw that video, right? They must continue. And so he urged his members to go and get their PVC and make sure they vote a Muslim ticket and whatever. Not only that, yesterday being the 10th day of, is it the 10th or yesterday was the 11th day of August 2026. Another, Muslim cleric from the West, a Yoruba Muslim cleric, came out and said that Muslims have the right to enslave non-Muslims in Nigeria. See, sometimes when I talk this, it dey do me somehow for head because my people don't really understand what is happening. No, I don't think we understand the level of what is happening. A Muslim cleric from the West, Yoruba, came out and said that Muslims have the right to enslave non-Muslims. You know what? Before I go further, I will play a video for you. A video that will tell you how these people operate. How they operate. Because that is one of our problems. We don't really understand how they operate. Please, I want to beg you to listen carefully to this video. I'll come back to tell you a bit of what this man said and what it means. Listen to this.
As I told you before, anything you hear on Radio Biafra is correct. I told you on this platform that they will come for you. You see, let me tell you one thing that people don't know because you don't know history. I forgive some of you because in your schools in the zoo they don't teach you anything. I want some people to actually go and sit down and study the history of Islam. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped growing. Islam is the only religion that has never stopped expanding through militancy and war. Others have stopped, only Islam. Christianity is based on convincing people, telling them about the message of hope and restoration of Yahweh Yeshua. Of course, immensely corrupted, that we know for sure. But Islam believes in expanding through war, and that war is coming. Now, I must be put on record, and UCHMF4, I wanted to record this very broadcast and play it all the time for our people to also understand and listen very carefully. And I will say it tonight. And if you come to me in the future, I'll refer you to the broadcast of the 8th of June 2015. And that I made this very comment I'm about to make now at precisely 10 minutes to 8 p.m. in the evening. If ISIS comes down into the zoo, of course they are part of Boko Haram anyway. If they fall, not if they, because they have forged an alliance already. If they launch any attack with the name of ISIS on the zoo soil, if you come to us to give us weapons, I will decline it. I will allow them to kill all of you before we mount any counter-offensive. Let me tell you one thing that you don't understand. Some of you, you claim you went to school, but you didn't go to school. Because if you went to school, you will understand how Islam works. Islam is coming for you. They must come for you. It's a M-U-S-T, must. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Only you can defend yourselves. This headline here is a confirmation if you need one. Atiku Abubakar said it yesterday. Today is being confirmed that ISIS is coming. Not just Boko Haram, but the real bad people that are coming. They need access to the oil. And they will get it. to secure their financial base for their continued expansion within the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. The zoo is seen as pivotal, and Biafra land is where the resources that they're looking for is lying in. They don't trust Buhari anymore. Buhari was their godfather, they no longer trust him. I mean, Boko Haram in this instance. Buhari, they thought, would give them Sharia immediately. Buhari saying, I don't belong to anybody. From that day, they intensified their bombing. Some of you cannot reason, you cannot see very well because you're blind. But at least you're lucky. You're listening to Radio Biafra. Very, very lucky indeed. I'm telling you the truth. Or else, I can in your blindness. It is that darkness we've come to shed light on, that you can see properly. If they enter the zoo, I will not command this army. And I need guns and I have the men. I need guns and I need bullets. That's all we need. And then we win. I have been sounding this warning. I've been telling you, you think we are joking. They are coming. Your mothers will be raped. Your sisters will be married off as slaves. I'm telling you that now. Right as I speak, write it down. Biafra land will be decimated unless we equip this army to defend us. If we don't equip our army to defend us, in other words, if we don't march this year, it will be very difficult for us to recover. Forget all this nonsense. All these so-called pro-Biafra groups you're saying, Awasa brought them out to confuse you. Awasa brought them out. That is why they cannot say what we are saying or do what we're capable of doing. These are Awasa groups and you are not listening. That's now I want to you are not listening, because the devil has gone into all these idols that you worship. The devil has gone inside you to harden your heart, to blind your eyes that you can no longer see. That day I will tell you to remember the broadcast of the 8th of June 2015. I will tell you to go back to it. I need guns and I need weapons. If I don't have guns and bullets, the army of Biafra cannot defend your towns and villages. The sooner you get that into your thick skull, the better for everybody. You are black people, you don't reason, I know that for sure. But the sooner you take this very message seriously, the better for everybody. Or else you're finished. ISIS is coming. They will enter the zoo and Chad very, very shortly. Not as Boko Haram, they are coming in as their franchise and as their name dictates. ISIS is coming. If you like, you make haste while the sun is shining, or if you like, you can continue to be dumb and stupid. That is entirely up to you. I won't be there, but you'll be dead anyway. And Radio Biafra will not report it, and nobody will. If you like, you give us guns. If you like, you don't. We are trying to save you, not you saving us. We continue.
Ẹni wọn gbọ́dọ̀ lọ ọjà, wọn gbọ́dọ̀ lóko, wọn gbọ́dọ̀ lọ ọjà. Ẹ tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ wọn, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jáde, agbọ́dọ̀ ní yíta. Ẹ sédè mọ́ wọn. Àwa mùsùlùmí la lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ àti ṣe kèfèrí mọ́lé. Kì í ṣe kèfèrí ni ó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ àti ṣe wa mọ́lé. Wakihudu lahum kullu marsadin. Bí tá bá ti bá wọn ẹ̀fì ni wọ́n gúnlẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀ bá wọn ní bòbá tán fa pamọ́ sí ẹ̀dì wọn bẹ̀. Ẹ̀dì wọn mọ́ bẹ̀, ẹ̀ tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ wọn bẹ̀. Ntọ́lọ́ sọ náà kúrò nínú. Mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ mi pé n tó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ṣe lórí ẹnìkan ẹnìyẹn yóò ṣe tiẹ̀, yóò ṣe nǹkan ẹ̀ máa fún ìfẹ́ yìí o. Ohun tó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe fún yàn tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ṣe òun ó ṣe tiẹ̀ fún yín o. Ẹni tó yẹ kẹ́ àrẹ́sì ẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá àrẹ́sì ẹ̀ òun àrẹ́sì yín.
America is not multicultural. America is Western Europe. The value systems of Western Europe, Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, Republican governance. Had America been a multicultural society, they would have space for Sharia. I'm now addressing the US ambassador to try to tell him to stop deceiving people. We are educated, we went to school for a reason. We are enlightened and we have our brain intact. There is no country on this earth that runs on this wishy-washy multiculturalism. It doesn't happen. What you have are established order and value systems upon which various cultures can now coexist. If you go to America, you coexist under the provisions of the United States Constitution. And the US Constitution is a Christian constitution, not Islam. America is not multicultural, but under that bedrock of liberty and egalitarianism, you allow other cultures to come in. But first of all, they must swear allegiance to or take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the USA. That is something that the US ambassador never told the Janjaweed that went to visit her. The same way that Nigeria cannot function as a viable entity. Wole Soyinka knows what I'm talking about. I'm even sure somebody who claims he's learned, as Bishop Coker is, understands what I'm talking about. No country on this earth. The value system of the state of Israel is based on Judaic principles. The value system of Russia is entirely theirs, it's based on theirs. It's a Russian way of doing things from times of the Tsar. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it is essentially a Sharia Islamic state. You can live there, no problem. You can build your churches if you want. I think they've necessarily to allow churches to be built. But it is never a multicultural society. Japan is not a multicultural society. China is not. They can accommodate you, but that doesn't mean they are multicultural. This is the type of nonsense they feed Africans. And we fall for that very gimmick of multiculturalism. At the end of the day, you end up with a useless contraption like Nigeria. You don't have any value system that anybody anywhere can define. If I talk about the USA, I can talk about hamburger in the USA. We can talk about, what else do they have in the USA? Hamburger, you can talk about, what's it called? What are the traditional dishes? Apple pie and all the rest of it. You can say that these are American dishes. If you go to the UK, you can talk about maybe mashed potato and bangers and mash, which is sausage and mashed potato as their national meal. That's understandable. But I ask you, if you come to Nigeria, what is the national dish of Nigeria? Does a Fulani Janjaweed eat ofe egusi, where we come from? Does an Igbo man eat a wedu soup? The answer is no. So on what basis is all this so-called multicultural foundation going to be laid upon? On what? We are not one people. We may be black, we may be Africans, but we're not one people. Not even one religion. If Britain cannot stay in an EU that is entirely Christian, EU is entirely Christian. Britain left. Nigeria, you don't know if Nigeria is Christian or in fact is Islamic. So for me to accept the multiculturalism being preached by the US ambassador, I have to embrace Islam as my religion. That's what it means. And some of you get taken in by all this rubbish. And I feel sorry for you. Yeah, sometimes when I say this, I'm being very arrogant. If you are educated, you will understand that no nation is multicultural. They allow other cultures to come in. It doesn't mean they're multicultural. They have a viable space where multicultural ideas or identities can thrive. But the foundation has to be monolithic. It has to be one dominant value system and ideology. That's how it is all over the world. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. That is the same reason why you have this anomaly. In a so-called republic, you have royal fathers in a republic. Because you are trying to shuffle multiculturalism. You are trying to marry the feudal system of the north, the monarchical system of the west, and the republican system in the east, to marry them into one. And what you have is entirely rubbish, and that is why Nigeria can never work. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Competing value systems. Nobody wants their own value system to be subsumed under another person's value system. This is something that the US ambassador never told you. But here I am telling you today. Because if you come here, you become educated. If you come here, you become enlightened. If you come here, you stop being a zoo animal, you become a human being. That is why we are the largest and, of course, the most consistent broadcasting platform insofar as Africa is concerned, right across the world. Millions listen to us because they know we preach the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.